Ladies and gentlemen, the hour is late. The warnings have been sounded. Echoes reverberating through our history, our world, and our very lives. Yet how many truly hear? How many heed the urgency? Time is running out, and the signs are all around us. The warning has been given, but the question remains. Will we listen before it is too late? Throughout history, moments have come when a warning was given, a call to awaken, to prepare, to change course. These moments are not coincidences. They are messages etched in the fabric of time, waiting for us to understand. The warning is clear. The path we tread is leading us toward a precipice. Today, that warning comes to us again. The world stands at a crossroads, politically, morally, spiritually, and socially. Every choice we make today echoes in the chambers of tomorrow. This is no time for complacency or denial. Time is not a luxury we possess. The days ahead will reveal the consequences of our decisions, and these consequences will not be gentle. Look around. History is filled with those who ignored warnings. A city once prosperous, now abandoned. A nation once strong, now divided. Great civilizations have fallen not from sudden catastrophe, but from a slow drift away from truth and responsibility. Consider the story of a farmer who ignored the early signs of a coming storm. When the tempest struck, his crops were lost, his home destroyed, and his family left vulnerable. The warning had come, but he did not prepare. Or the tale of a community warned about a flood, yet chose to carry on as if nothing was amiss. When the waters rose, they had nowhere to turn. The same is true for us now. The signs are unmistakable. In the climate, in the unrest, in the fractures of society, in the spiritual emptiness that pervades our age. So what can we do? First, open your eyes and your heart to the reality of the moment. Denial will not save us. Awareness is the first step toward change. Next, act with urgency. Time may be limited, but the opportunity to change direction remains. Seek wisdom, build unity, restore what has been broken. Prepare yourselves and your communities, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. Strengthen what holds you together. Let the warning inspire action, not fear. Finally, remember that each one of us has a role to play. No voice is too small, no action insignificant. Together, we can alter the course of what seems inevitable. The warning has come before, yet many still walk as if the earth beneath their feet is steady, as if the sky above will always remain clear, but the signs are unmistakable. Whispers turned into roars, that something is shifting, that the ground beneath us trembles with unrest not seen in generations. We live in a time when the past and future collide, where the choices we make today will ripple far beyond our own lives. The warning is not some distant echo. It is here, now, and it demands to be heard. Time is no longer a friend, but an adversary. It slips through our fingers faster than we can grasp. The moments we take for granted, the days we waste in complacency, are pieces of a clock that is counting down relentlessly. The question is no longer if change will come, but when. And how prepared will we be when it does? The truth is, the hourglass is nearly empty, and the sands fall swiftly. Look around and see the world at a crossroads. Nations once united now fracture beneath the weight of discord and division. Values that once seemed eternal are questioned, and the moral compass of society spins wildly without true north. The forces at work are complex and overwhelming, yet the underlying message is clear. There is a great reckoning on the horizon, and it will touch every person, every community, every nation. History is littered with the remains of those who ignored the warnings. They were not destroyed by sudden calamities alone, but by slow erosion of faith, unity, and awareness. Like a farmer who sees dark clouds gathering but ignores the warnings of nature, they were unprepared when the storm arrived. Like a town warned of rising waters but choosing to carry on as usual, they found themselves drowning in consequences they could have avoided. We are no different. The signs are all around us, in the natural disasters that grow fiercer, in the unrest that boils beneath the surface of society, in the spiritual void that leaves many wandering without direction. This is not a time to turn away or to silence the alarm. This is a moment that calls for eyes wide open, hearts awake, and spirits ready to act. Awareness is the foundation of survival. To deny what is happening is to invite disaster. We must recognize the reality of this hour with clarity and courage. Once we see the truth, we can begin to change course. But this change requires more than passive hope. It demands deliberate action, swift and strong. There is still time, but only just. The window to alter the path we are on is narrowing with every passing day. Those who wait too long will find themselves trapped by consequences they could have avoided. The wise do not delay when the storm approaches. They prepare, they fortify, they unite. The practical steps are not always easy, but they are necessary. Begin by seeking wisdom. Wisdom that is not merely intellectual, but profound and rooted in understanding the deeper currents at work. Build unity where there is division. Strengthen bonds where they have weakened. Restore the foundation of trust, respect, and mutual care. These are the building blocks of resilience. Prepare yourselves, not just physically, but mentally. Strengthen your communities by sharing hope, encouraging each other, and working together to meet the challenges ahead. Isolation will only weaken. Connection will empower. Do not wait for someone else to act. Each voice matters. Each hand can build. Do not underestimate the power of individual responsibility. No one is exempt from the role they must play in this hour. The future is shaped by those who step forward, not 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 by those who step forward, not. We are all architects of what is to come. The challenges before us will be severe. There will be trials that test the very core of our character. But in those trials lie opportunities. Opportunities to grow stronger, to become wiser, to unite in purpose. Those who embrace the warning, who heed the call, will be the ones who stand firm when others fall. This is not a call to fear, but to vigilance. Not to despair, but to resolve. The warning is a gift, a chance to prepare and to choose a better way. The alternative is chaos and loss, outcomes no one desires. Remember, history favors the vigilant and the brave. It remembers those who answered the call when the world seemed to falter. The warning is not a final sentence, but a call to action, a summons to rise above the distractions and to focus on what truly matters. The time to act is now. Delay will only deepen the shadows that loom ahead. We can still turn the tide, but the choice is ours. Will we rise together, united by purpose and strengthened by hope? Or will we be swept away by the currents of division and indifference? The warning has been given. It echoes through the ages, reaching into this very moment. To ignore it is to invite calamity. To embrace it is to find the strength to face whatever comes with courage and conviction. Look closely at the world, listen carefully to the signs, and prepare with urgency. The days ahead will reveal the truth of our choices. Let us choose wisely, act boldly, and walk forward with unwavering resolve. The warning has already come. It has echoed through history, spoken in subtle whispers and thunderous proclamations alike. Yet many walk as though they have not heard, as though the message was meant for another time, another place, another people. But the truth is unmistakable. The warning was given, and it was given clearly. It is not a mystery or an accident that we find ourselves facing the crossroads of history now. This moment was set into motion long before we arrived. Throughout time, there have been voices that spoke of change, of reckoning, of consequences for turning away from what is just and true. These voices were not cries of fear, but calls to awaken, calls to prepare, calls to act. They came in many forms, through prophets, through signs in the heavens, through events that shook the very foundations of the world. They demanded attention, and yet the response was too often silence, ignorance, or worse, dismissal. We live in an age where distractions abound, and the noise of daily life can drown out the most vital messages. But beneath the surface, the warning persists. It is etched in the growing unrest among nations, in the fractures of society, in the storms that rage fiercer each year, and in the spiritual void that leaves many wandering without direction. The warning has been given, not as a threat, but as a lifeline. A chance to turn back before the damage becomes irreversible. To ignore this warning is not simply to close one's eyes to danger, it is to invite catastrophe. History shows us this truth again and again. Civilizations that chose to ignore the signs, that believed themselves invincible or above the laws that govern the world, were brought low. Not overnight, but through a slow unraveling that began with refusal to heed the message. Now, we stand at a similar threshold. The evidence surrounds us. We see it in the tensions that divide families, communities, and countries. We feel it in the erosion of values that once held us together. We witness it in the environment that groans under strain. The warning is clear. The way we live, the choices we make, the path we follow, these are not sustainable. They lead to a precipice. But alongside the warning, there is an urgency that must be understood. Time is not on our side. Time, once vast and seemingly endless, is now a resource slipping quickly through our fingers. The clock is not paused. It is moving forward, relentlessly and without mercy. The window to change course is narrowing, and with every moment wasted, that window closes a little more. We must face this reality with brutal honesty. The luxury of delay is gone. There is no more room for denial or complacency. We cannot afford to wait for someone else to act, for a miracle to occur, or for circumstances to become more favorable. The hour demands action, and it demands it now. To grasp the weight of this truth, imagine a sinking ship. The alarms have sounded. The crew knows the danger. But if they do not respond swiftly, the ship will be lost, and with it, the lives aboard. We are that crew, and the ship is our world. The warning has sounded. The alarms ring loud, and yet the choices we make now will determine whether we survive the storm or succumb to it. The forces at work are complex and daunting. They test our resolve and our ability to respond with wisdom and courage. But they also remind us that time is a precious commodity. It is a call to focus, to prioritize, to act with clarity and determination. Every delay, every moment of hesitation carries a cost. It is the cost of lost opportunities, of worsening conditions, of missed chances to unite and rebuild what has been broken. Time spent ignoring the warning is time lost forever. Yet even in this urgency, there is hope. The very existence of the warning means there is still a chance, a narrow but real chance to change course. To do so requires awakening to the reality of our situation. It requires seeing the warning not as doom, but as a guidepost, a signpost pointing toward what must be done. The journey ahead will not be easy. It will demand sacrifice, resilience, and unity. It will require us to set aside petty differences and distractions, to focus on what truly matters, the survival and flourishing of our world and all who inhabit it. The warning that has been given is not just a message to nations or leaders, it is a call to each individual. It speaks to every person who hears it. Prepare, act, change. The clock is ticking, and the sands of time are running low. The time to awaken to this reality is now. We must listen with more than our ears. We must listen with our hearts and with our will. The warning is a voice from history and from the very fabric of the world itself. A voice that says, wake up before it is too late. Time is fleeting, and the future depends on the choices made today. So do not turn away. Do not close your eyes or silence your heart. The warning has been given and time is running out. The moment to act is now, and what we do will echo through generations yet unborn. The world stands at a crossroads unlike any we have seen before. This is not merely a moment in time, it is a defining point in history, where every path we choose will shape not just our present, but the very fabric of the future. At this intersection, the direction we take will determine the fate of nations, the well-being of generations yet to come, and the very soul of humanity itself. Crossroads are places of decision, places of choice. They are moments when the road divides and the traveler must decide which way to go. This moment is no different. The signs are clear and the options are laid before us. One path leads toward restoration, unity, and hope, though it will require sacrifice and courage. The other leads toward division, destruction, and despair. But it is easier, for it requires no immediate change. The tension at this crossroads is palpable. Around the globe, we see evidence of the struggle between these two roads. We witness nations torn by internal conflict, communities fractured by distrust, and ideologies clashing in ways that threaten to unravel the very fabric of society. The ancient foundations upon which peace and progress were built are crumbling under the weight of neglect and defiance. Yet this moment of crisis also carries with it an opportunity. Crossroads are not only places of danger, but also of great potential. The choice to turn toward unity, justice, and wisdom can lead to renewal and transformation. The challenge lies in recognizing the gravity of this moment and having the strength to choose the difficult path, the path of reconciliation, of rebuilding, of facing the hard truths. But make no mistake, this crossroads is not a place where delay or indecision is possible. The consequences of the paths we choose will be swift and severe. The future will not wait while we debate or hesitate. The moment demands clarity and courage, for the cost of wrong choices will be borne by all. The consequences awaiting us are not abstract or distant. They are real, tangible, and unavoidable. The warning has been clear. Ignore it at your peril. Just as a river, once it breaks its banks, floods the land indiscriminately, so too will the consequences of our collective choices. sweep through the world with unstoppable force. These consequences will touch every aspect of life. Economies will falter and fail. If greed and corruption continue unchecked, societies will fracture further if hatred and division are allowed to grow. The natural world will suffer irreparable damage if we continue to exploit it without care or restraint. There will be hardship, loss, and pain. These are the unavoidable prices of ignoring the warning and turning away from the path of wisdom. Families will suffer, communities will be tested, and nations will be forced to confront realities they once thought unimaginable. But the consequences are not only external. There is a spiritual reckoning intertwined with the physical realities. When societies reject truth and justice, when they embrace selfishness and cruelty, the moral compass of the world spins wildly. This spiritual disorientation deepens the crises we face, making the path forward more difficult and the stakes higher. Yet even in the face of these unavoidable consequences, there is still room for hope and for action. Consequences do not always mean final defeat. They can be catalysts for awakening and change. Sometimes it is through the hardest trials that a people are humbled and strengthened, that clarity emerges from confusion, and that unity is forged from division. The key is not to resign ourselves to despair, but to recognize the seriousness of the moment and respond with urgency and determination. The crossroads we face demand a collective awakening, a turning away from the paths that lead to destruction and toward those that offer redemption. It is a call to rebuild what has been broken, the trust between neighbors, the respect among nations, the stewardship of the earth, and the values that sustain communities. It is a call to face the consequences honestly and to take responsibility for our part in the story. No longer can we afford to ignore the signs or postpone the necessary changes. The longer we delay, the harsher the consequences will become, and the more difficult the journey forward will be. But the crossroads also remind us of our power, the power to choose, to act, and to change course. Each step we take toward justice, peace, and unity can alter the trajectory of history. Each act of courage and compassion can become a beacon in the darkness, guiding others toward the better path. We must embrace this power with humility and resolve. We must come together, setting aside differences, recognizing that the future depends on our ability to walk this path united. The world is watching, and history will remember what we do in this hour. The warning has been given, the crossroads are before us, and the consequences are unavoidable. But within this grave reality lies the profound truth that every moment is also an opportunity to turn, to choose wisely, and to rise above the challenges that threaten to consume us. Let us not squander this moment. Let us choose the path of courage, wisdom, and unity. Let us face the consequences with open eyes and steadfast hearts, knowing that through our actions we can change the course of history for the better. Even in the midst of darkness and looming peril, a window remains open. Though narrow in closing, it is a window through which hope can still pass. A chance to alter the course set before us and to steer away from disaster. This window for change is not guaranteed to stay open forever. It requires action, resolve, and faith that the future can be shaped by the choices we make today. Many have grown weary or skeptical, convinced that the weight of the world's troubles is too great to overcome. But history reminds us that even when all seems lost, transformation can begin with a single act, a single decision, a single step. The window for change beckons to those who have the courage to see beyond despair and to grasp the possibility of renewal. To embrace this window is to acknowledge the urgency of now. It means setting aside complacency, excuses, and distractions that keep us trapped in the same cycles of failure. It means recognizing that the power to change lies within us, within our communities, our leaders, our hearts. The window is not wide or easy to pass through. It demands sacrifice and steadfastness. It calls for difficult decisions and the willingness to face inconvenient truths. But it is still open, and within it lies the chance to redirect our path toward healing, restoration, and peace. This moment calls for awakening to responsibility, not as a burden, but as a sacred duty. The window will not remain open indefinitely, like the closing of a gate at dusk. Once it shuts, the opportunity to pass through will be lost. Those who wait too long will find themselves locked outside, forced to watch as the consequences of inaction unfold without hope of reversal. Yet, as the window narrows, the power of each person's actions grows. The role of every individual becomes magnified, every choice weighted with meaning. This leads us to the truth that no one stands outside this moment of reckoning. Each one of us has a role to play, a contribution to make, and a responsibility to bear. The idea that one person can make a difference may seem small in the face of global turmoil, but it is precisely in the sum of individual actions that history is shaped. No voice is too faint, no effort too insignificant, when multiplied by millions who choose to rise. Each role is unique but equally vital. Some are called to lead with vision and courage, steering communities through stormy seas. Others are called to serve with compassion and strength, tending to the wounds of those hurt by the consequences already unfolding. Some must speak truth to power, refusing to remain silent when injustice reigns. Others must build bridges where walls have been erected, seeking unity in division. This moment requires a collective awakening to the truth that the future is not predetermined. It is a tapestry woven from countless threads, each thread representing a person, a choice, a moment of courage or surrender. We must cast off the illusion that the responsibility belongs to someone else. There is no one exempt from this call. The hand that reaches out to help, the voice that stands up for justice, the heart that refuses to give in to despair, these are the hands, voices, and hearts that keep the window open. The world is too interconnected for any to stand apart. The choices we make ripple outward, affecting neighbors, communities, and nations. To deny our role is to deny our shared humanity and the power we hold to influence what comes next. The challenge is great, but so too is the capacity for change. When enough people embrace their roles, when enough voices unite, the momentum for transformation becomes unstoppable. The window may narrow, but the force of a united people can swing it wide open once again. To ignore this is to forsake the very hope that sustains us. To embrace it is to ignite a spark that can grow into a blaze of renewal. This is the moment to step forward, to take up the mantle of responsibility, and to act with the knowledge that our deeds matter. No matter how dark the times may seem, no matter how daunting the road ahead, the window for change remains open for those willing to reach through it and grasp the future with boldness and faith. Each one has a role. The future is waiting for us to claim it. The warning has been given. The time is pressing, but the power to change still lies within our hands. This is the call of our time. The call to rise, to act, and to shape a destiny worthy of those who will come after us. The time has come to face the undeniable truth. The warning has been given, the crossroads are before us, and the hour is urgent. This moment will define the course of history and the legacy we leave behind. We stand not on the sidelines, but at the center of a great and solemn responsibility. The future is no longer a distant dream. It is a reality waiting to be shaped by the choices we make today. We cannot afford the luxury of delay or denial. The consequences of inaction are not some far-off possibility. They are here, unfolding before our eyes, touching lives in ways too painful to ignore. But neither are we helpless. Within each of us lies the power to turn the tide, to step through the narrowing window of opportunity and toward a future of hope and renewal. This is a call to courage, the courage to confront hard truths, to reject complacency, and to embrace the difficult path of change. It is a call to unity, for no challenge of this magnitude can be faced alone. We must come together, putting aside divisions and distractions, to stand as one people bound by a shared commitment to the greater good. Each one has a role to play. No action is too small. No voice too quiet. The strength of a movement is built from the sum of countless acts of courage and conviction. Your choices, your efforts, your faith in the possibility of change, they matter. They will echo through the lives of those who follow. Remember, the window is closing, but it remains open. This is the moment to act. Not tomorrow, not when it's easier, but now. To step forward with resolve and intention. To be the light in the darkness, the steady hand in the storm. To reclaim the promise of a future where justice, peace, and wisdom prevail. History will not remember those who stood idle or turned away. It will remember those who answered the call, who faced the storm with steadfast hearts, and who dared to believe in a better tomorrow. The warning was not meant to break us, but to awaken us, to remind us that time is precious and that the power to change lies within our grasp. So rise up, speak boldly, act with conviction. The days ahead will test us all, but they also offer the greatest opportunity any generation has ever known, to choose life over destruction, hope over despair, and unity over division. The warning has been given. Time is running out. But within that urgency lies the power to rewrite the story, to build a future worthy of those who will inherit the earth. Will you answer the call? Will you be part of the change? The choice is yours. The moment is now. The warning has been given. The hourglass is running low. We stand at the edge of a great turning point. Will we wake up in time? Will we choose the path of wisdom, courage, and unity? Or will we fall into despair and destruction because we failed to listen? The choice is ours, but the time to decide is now. Remember this. History remembers those who responded to the call, who stood when others fell, who acted when the moment demanded it. Let us be those people. The warning has been given. Time is running out. But hope remains for those who choose to heed the call. Thank you.